Sweet.
Okay, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. This is All Things Football Podcast. My name is Jay Drackford. I'm really old now. Not very good, Lee. How's it going, Lee? All okay?
Very well, mate. Happy 40th yesterday, mate.
Oh, don't even go there. Great fun. Great fun. Still got hair, though, so that's all right.
Fine with that.
How's things with you, all right? How's the bike rides going?
Very good, mate. She's doing great. I mean, she's up to $6,500 now.
Wow.
And with our next guest, she's wearing a little Wealdstone shirt today that got sent through the post. We've had some great shirts. We've had Cambridge United, Stevenage, Watford, Wealdstone, Slough, Hampton and Richmond, Miami with David Beckham. So she's done brilliant, mate. If we can get her up to the $10,000, that would just be amazing. When we think we started for £500. So hopefully, mate, we can do that. So, but introducing obviously our next guest. I think when you hear his voice, you just want to go over to Ireland and have a pint of Guinness. But no, I've got a lot of time for this guy. Very, very good manager. Someone I really think will really kick on, and you've seen that this year with what he's done at Wealdstone. But introducing Dean Brennan. Dino, how are you, mate?
All right, Lee. Very good, thanks, mate. Keeping well and coping in this lockdown.
Good, mate. Just how's things? How's everything planning out for you, mate?
Yeah, obviously, personally, you just want to make sure you survive this. You know, there's so many people dying. I know 2 people that have died, one in Ireland, one in England. So, that leave the family behind. You just got to make sure you survive. And, you know, we're all probably in the same boat. I just think it's important that common sense prevails for everybody within their personal life. You know, just stick to the government guidelines and stuff like that. So it's frustrating, but we all understand why we have to do it.
Yeah, of course, mate. Now, listen, we'll start off, mate. Just what was it like for Dean Brennan as a kid growing up? Where did you grow up, and how did you find your first love for football, mate?
Yeah, I grew up in Dublin. Everybody played sport. I grew up in quite a tough area. The Liberties is the oldest part of Ireland. It's in our city. It's quite near Temple Bar. It's like the Dublin 8 area. In between Guinness's and Temple Bar. And I grew up in that area, and you had to be streetwise to survive. And that's the way it was for all of us. If you didn't get into boxing or football, you would have got into drug dealing. It's really that simple. I'm lucky enough football's given me everything I have. And so I grew up there playing for a club called Lourdes Celtic. People like Niall Quinn, Damien Duff played there. So it's got a good heritage of players that have gone to England. And we had a really strong group. My age group was the group of Robbie Keanes, people like that, Damien Duffs, Richard Dunn. So a really strong age group coming through the schoolboy section. And a lot of the lads went to England. I'd say at least 30 or 40 lads went to England.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had really good careers from my age group. That would have been the 1980 group.
What I mean, I take my kids over to Ireland. We love it. We go to Crumlin and play Crumlin United. We go and play St Francis, and like you say, they're so streetwise, but they're very, very good footballers over there, and so many come over to England at 16. So is that what happened to you? What age did you come over?
I come over 15 originally. I signed for Stockport. I was homesick. I went back to Ireland. I lasted 3 months, and then I come back again to Sheffield Wednesday when I was 17, and I had 3 years there. But you know, you're talking about St Francis, Crumlin, all them. That's sort of the area I grew up in. Lourdes Celtic is in Crumlin. It's on Sundrive Hill.
Yeah.
So you'd know it well. Crumlin are a great side. Obviously, Robbie played for Crumlin.
That's right. Yeah.
That sort of famous, you know. So it's very competitive schoolboy football at the top level, especially in Dublin. Really competitive. Yeah. But what I found the difference when I come to England and the mistake I made, it was more togetherness within my schoolboy team. When I come to England, I didn't realise it was about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really the mistake I made, and it took me too long to understand that.
That's what I noticed massively when we take our teams over there. Like they're proper sides. Like you don't mess about over there. They look after each other. They look after their own, and they're very, very good standard, very good sides. I mean, the St Francis side we played a couple of years ago. I think 9 of them went to England and signed for different Prem clubs and League One and Championship clubs. The level's so strong out there. Do you think that's because there's no real academy out there, so it's like proper sides?
I just think Irish people love sport. You know, it's a big sport nation. We love golf. You've got GAA, Gaelic and hurling. We're so competitive. Boxing's a massive sport in Ireland.
Yeah.
And football, obviously, is probably the main sport. It's probably took over from GAA, if I'm being totally honest. And, you know, I just grew up loving football. Liverpool was my team, and all my mates played football, so it was one of them. You'd be playing with lads that are like 5 years older than you, so you'd have to like toughen up a little bit, stuff like that. So a lot of football is played. It's still played on the street. My son's 17 this month, actually, in a couple of weeks. He goes back every summer, loves it. Can't get him back over here.
Really?
You know, because the kids still play on the street, still play football. They go to the park, they play football. They're playing heads and volleys. I don't know what you guys call it.
Yeah.
You know, World Cups. You know what I mean? They're playing knockout. That's still played. That still goes on in the inner city of Dublin, so where I'm from. And anyway, so and I think that's the main thing. We just love football. We love sport. We always have. Like, all my mates, like I'm 40 next month, so all my mates still play football, vets football, all back home, play golf. So sport was a big thing for us growing up. Still is now.
So Dean, how did the move come around to get you over to England, and how did it feel coming over?
It's a bit like Lee saying he takes his kids over there. A lot of clubs like Sheffield Wednesday went and played the Dublin Select team. I played 2 years up. I played within that game. It was under 18 game where I was 16. I just turned 16. So, and I played in the game and I played really well. Took 7 of us over on trial. Signed 3 of us: Alan Quinn, Derek Geary, and myself. Obviously, them 2 better footballing careers than I did. Both played in the Premier League. And Derek Geary, funny enough, runs the Sheffield United Academy now. He's academy manager, under 19 academy manager there. So, and that's how it come about. Simple as that. We all come over together, thrown into digs with a big Irish connection with some Mark McKeever was there, who played for Peterborough, and Dave Billington, Sheffield Wednesday bought them for £1 million from Peterborough. So with a big Irish connection, we're in the Sheffield Wednesday academy basically, and a big English one as well. A lot of the English players like Stevie Haslam, who actually runs the academy at Sheffield Wednesday now. He was England captain, him and Wes Brown, Michael Owen, with Kevin Nicholson, who you'll know well from Torquay. He was the England captain as well under 16, 17, 18 as a left back, and they were at Sheffield Wednesday. That was the strength and depth we had within that academy.
What, because you said you got homesick. What was the difference this time with going to Sheffield Wednesday and not getting homesick? Because it's obviously still hard at 16, 17, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just when I went to Stockport, it was me and one other lad. He stuck it out, but I was too young. I was 15. I was just too young. I was too immature. 17, there was 3 of us. I knew Dell, and I knew Quinner. I knew Quinner really well as well. I knew both lads from being in Dublin Selects and training with the Irish team and stuff like that. So we all sort of knew each other from training camps. So there was a major difference. I was still homesick. From 17 to 20, I was at Sheffield Wednesday. I was still homesick. I still missed home, because I was from a real tight community. Yeah. Real working class community. So you just miss home. And obviously, you realise that. And like I said to you earlier, I realised too late what it takes to be a professional footballer.
I was going to say that, Dino. Do you think that held you back, the homesickness and wanting to be back at home? Do you think that sort of stopped you kicking on? Because everyone knows what a good player you was. It just obviously didn't quite work out at that level, did it? Yeah,
I was too immature. I didn't have enough know-how around me about the business of football, because it's a business, as we all know now, it's a business. I didn't make enough sacrifices, but I wasn't educated enough. I didn't. By the time when I got to 24, that was when I realised, hold on, you've got to be super fit. It's all. I'm 24. I started when I'm 17 as a pro. I'm 7 years in. I've only played 25 30 league games. Yeah. And it's not good enough. And the new kids on the block's coming along, you know what I mean? And you've got to stay fit. So in the end, I decided to quit football quite early.
No, so what? You went back to Ireland, didn't you, after Sheffield Wednesday? What was the reasoning behind that? And then, because you then come back to trial at Luton, didn't you? What was the reasoning behind all that?
That small period, Sheffield Wednesday will look like we're going to get relegated. They had a major cut, and they cut about, I think it was about 18 players, academy players. Well, not academy players, but young pros. So we'd about 18 of us released. And some of the lads went on to have better careers elsewhere, and there was a major financial deficit at the football club. I was doing quite well at that time, to be totally honest with you. I've been in around the first team in pre-season. I played a couple of games. Been in around the first team squad. A few of us were. So we were doing quite well at that stage, but obviously for financial reasons. And that's when you realise the business is rootless. So I decided to get paid up and go back to Ireland and play for Roddy Collins. And I played there for a few games. And then obviously Ricky Hill gets the job. And I realised Dublin wasn't the place for me. It was starting to change. In my area, there's a lot of crime. So I had to get out, really. And I think it's the best thing I've ever done. That was the best decision I think I've ever made.
So then you ended up making a debut at Luton. How did that all happen?
Yeah, Ricky Hill was my youth team manager. He was the coach that originally brought me to Sheffield Wednesday. He got the first team job at Sheffield Wednesday. He rings me when I'm playing in Ireland and he says, look, there's a deal here for you. If you're fit, get yourself over. Spoke to Roddy Collins, who was the manager of Bohemians, who were a really successful side in them days. That did the double actually when I left that season. He just basically said, great opportunity for you, got to take it. Never put a figure on my head. And to this day, I'm still friends with Roddy for that. You know what I mean? He never said, oh, we want this, I want that. He says, go there, get yourself back to England and get on with your career. That's the place you need to go. So, and that's what I did. And I went there, and Luton was a great club. And it was a big club. It was a bigger club than probably what I thought it was going to be. But it was a major difference between Sheffield Wednesday and Luton because I come from a Premier League club. You go back to Ireland, you think it's a bit part-timey, half part-time, half full-time. Then you go to Luton, and it was a big club, I have to be honest. Funny, I think my first game was at Boreham Wood. The first game I played was at Boreham Wood.
Was it?
And yeah, it was, yeah, the first pre-season. It's like sort of a trial game, let's say. And I managed to get a couple of goals. I remember it pretty well, to be fair. And then, yeah, look, I was lucky enough to play football and have a career, but not a massive career. Maybe not the career I should have had. I should have had a better career, really.
What was the decision behind, like, just saying I'm knocking it on the head in terms of the pro side of things?
When we were at Grays, so I was still full time.
Yeah.
I was about 25, and our pay was slow. I have to be honest, our pay was slow. I was a young kid, a young child, you know what I mean, a 1-year-old child at the time. And I just couldn't be bothered chasing the money, chasing the chairman all the time to pay us. Do you know what I mean? I'm not knocking Mickey Woodward at all. He did a great job at Grays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had a great team. And really, I was probably too much to say for myself. I was quite brash in the change room, too much to say. And I sort of took it on myself to go to the chairman. The players were all moaning in the change room. I'm pretty straightforward, pretty straight talking. I was like, listen, we want our money. Where's our money?
Yeah.
You know, we need to pay our bills. And that's basically what happened. And in the end, I just thought, you know what? I'll just play football for a little bit.
You was there with Cam Moyer was there at the time as well, wasn't he? Yeah, he said it was a nightmare. You 3 or 4 just training on your own and that, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a bit of that, yeah, messing us about. But he did really well, Cam. He came in at right back, and we'd known that when we won the Conference South and when we won the trophy, we'd know right back. I remember I had to play there a few times. Joe Bruce played there, but eventually he come in and did really well in that position. But once people start knocking you and messing with your money and whatever else, and that happened to Cam and lots of us at that club.
You had you played for a few non-league clubs, though. What would you say was your best non-league club you played for? How did you find non-league football? And what was the best bit about the club that you choose?
Yeah, Hendon was a great club. I went on loan from Hendon, from Stevenage to Hendon to get match fit. I played about 6 games there. It was a good club in the sense of Dave Anderson got a community spirit together. So he taught me sort of, so going into my management, I always wanted to be a manager. I knew I wanted to be a manager. He taught me team spirit. We'd have a curry night on a Thursday night. I'd be going back up the year. One too many. I'd way too many of them, being honest with you. You know, you're thinking, but it was great, and I didn't want to go back to Stevenage. The team spirit was great, and that team come toward in the Conference South with no money.
Yeah. And
I really enjoyed it there. But Grays was the best team I played for. The best team. Stimo was a great manager. I'm surprised Stimo's not gone back managing higher. Great manager. Let you express yourself. And we had a really good side. You know, if you look at the players that have gone on to have careers out of that. Gary Hooper played, scored a lot of goals. Mitchell Cole, God bless his soul, fantastic left winger. Dennis Ollie was probably our best player. Yeah, great player. Yeah, you know, Dennis Ollie was a great player. Tony Battersby up front. So we had a really good side. I could go through loads of them. Jamie Stewart, Bezo and goal. We had a really good side at Grays. That was probably the best side. The chairman, I think, let the side break up, and I think it would have went into the Football League. I remember we played Colchester. Their first team against ours in pre-season. We beat them 5-0. It could have been 20.
Yeah.
It was a hammering. You know, you're looking at, I know and it was quite close. It was a week before the season started. It was quite close.
Yeah, you had a good side. Yeah.
You know, we did just a way better side in the level, and I think we started the season really well, but then bit by bit it started to break up, and you started to see the frailties financially with the football club.
Yeah, of course. What was I going to say? I've lost my chain of thought there. Sorry. No, I was going to say you took that next step, mate, into management. You said earlier, and I've always said it from day one. Did you always want to be a manager? Was that your main goal? I mean, I've always said it was all being a manager over a player. I don't know why it was like that, but it was. Was that kind of similar to yourself?
We were probably similar type players, myself and yourself. I played against you a couple of times. Similar type technical players. You had to think about the game a lot, get myself in certain positions, and I always thought about the game tactically. I love football. I'd watch any level of football, any game.
Yeah.
So I just think about it tactically, and I'd speak to managers about it, help them recruit. Like, realistically, I think I brought about 6 players to Grey's. That's the honest truth. I helped them on the pitch. I'd be tapping into players. Manage the referee. He's decent. Tap into him, and that's how I met Maynard. And I was at Hitchin.
Really?
We played Enfield away. Yeah, we played Enfield away. I thought, he's a good player. Never met him before. We were winning 3-0 at half time. I said to Robbie O'Keefe, the manager, I said, I like their 7. He's a good player. He'd be better on the inside than midfield. Off the right. And I got his number after the game. We've been friends ever since. And that's how I met Maynard. I just knew he was tactically good. And yeah, you just take little things from different managers and then you have your own thing on it. But I just love football. I love watching it. And,
with Dave Anderson, because did you know Dave before you went to Hendon? Because you're quite close with Dave, aren't you?
Yeah.
That just kind of grow just by going to Hendon on loan and sort of kept in touch since.
Went to Hendon on loan. He always kept in touch. Good guy. Always bumped into him here and there. I'd go watch a game. If someone, let's say we weren't playing the Saturday or the midweek, I'd just go catch a game with a couple of mates of mine or something. I love watching football. And then he got the Wimbledon job. And I went to Wimbledon for Dave, but I ripped me quad. I was out for 4 months and I didn't do it justice. Dave went all out to sign me, gave me a lot of money, gave me full-time money. It was sort of the start of them sort of kicking on to better pay. Say the lads were on 250, he started giving out 5s and stuff like that. So I didn't let him down because I was injured, but from that I've always stayed in contact with him. He always said to me, I never really see you being a manager. Maybe because I was a bit of a jack the lad in the changing room, but
probably similar to me. Like you say, it was quite. But you were a little bit like me, like tapping into other players and going to watch games for the sake of going to watch games. I remember trying to tell my old man what to do at certain games, and just one of them things you're sort of just born within you. But then I'd go into change rooms and be an idiot at times, but that was just because of the character I was as a player, kind of thing. And you seem quite similar to that.
Yeah, I'd say we're definitely similar to our characters. Definitely. Yeah. I think the key to the management business is recruitment. It's as simple as that. If you don't have good players, you're not going to have a good team.
Yeah.
The rest of it's down to you then. If you recruit right, that's how you get your... But then again, you have other things. I've been at clubs where off the field stuff is affecting everything.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of good experience. And I think that bad experience out of Billericay, I know we've jumped a little bit ahead. That bad experience it's kept me in really good stead. And lucky enough, I've got a second opportunity.
Yeah.
So you stepped into management at Hemel and kind of hit the ground running. How did that all come about? And I presume you really enjoyed it, getting yourselves into the playoffs and winning the league?
Well, it's the look of life. I played for Hemel for a brief period. I was temporary manager because I was the oldest player when he sacked what's the chap's name that got sacked? He's at the goalie coach. He's at Crystal Palace.
Gary Phillips.
Gaz. Sorry, Gaz. Sorry, couldn't get it out there. So he sacked him. I took it over for a few games. We drew a few games, kept things steady. I moved on my way. And then I was selling wine. I had a business selling wine. I was importing wine lately. Bogo, to be fair to Bogo, he's a publican. He was buying wine off me. I went to Dunstable as assistant manager just to learn the trade, get used to talking in front of a group. I helped them out. And he kept saying to me, Bogo, from about February on, they were really struggling. Please take it. I was like, I'm not leaving the lads at Dunstable. I promised them I'd help them. Yeah. I'm there till the summer. If we do it in the summer, we'll do it in the summer. And that's just the look of life. I was selling him wine. He was in a bad place. And I knew that, but I had to do a lot of research because obviously we were sort of assistant managing 2 levels below. So you know what? So you've done the jump yourself, Lee. You know what I mean? You jump around. You've got to make sure you know the players. So I said to Stu, look, we have a good opportunity of getting this job. It'll be me and you. Let's get ourselves as many games as possible. And Stu wasn't in football at the time, so he was just going to loads of games at that level. It looked like they were going to get a reprieve, and that's how I got the job. It's as simple as that. And then I was lucky enough, Steve O'Leary, Peter Holmes, Matty Nolan were personal friends of mine. I said to the boys, come down here, come and play for cheap. Not Toomey, Piercy did a great job who we inherited. Yeah. So we were lucky that season. We had a few players we inherited, but we recruited not bad either.
What I mean, you always had very, very good success at Hemel. Did you just feel it was the right time to go? Did you feel that you'd taken them as far as you could? Because, I mean, every year you'd work, no matter by hook or crook, you'd even start poorly and still end up in there somehow. You'd always do very well there. Do you just think it was the right time? And how did Billericay come about? That's, I think, the one that we'll all want to know about.
Yeah, obviously we had a great time at Hemel. And I thank Dave and Emily. I always say they were brilliant to me. They did so much for me off the pitch as well. So, I thank them. But certain things happened behind the scenes. I'd love to discuss. One or two things happened behind the scenes where the player was meant to go to another club. It sort of stopped. I believe that should have happened. Yeah. And it didn't. And when that happened, I sort of made up my mind that the next opportunity, I'd have to leave.
Yeah.
So, and that's sort of what happened, really. So, yeah, but we played Billericay at Hemel. We had a decent start to the season. We played them at Air Place and we gave them an absolute hiding, technically. We battered them. And after the game, Glenn got hold of my number. And to be fair, they were contacting us. Different people were having conversations, and it just went from there, really. It just escalated from there. And then in the end, Glenn, I thought Glenn was a really nice fella. I still think he's a nice fella. I still think he's got demons, obviously. But I think without them demons, I think he's a genuine bloke.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, we did a long chat, and he sold me the ambition of the football club. But obviously, when you're about 8 weeks in or whatever it was just a financial mess. The whole thing was a financial mess, and then that's what you have to do. We have to deal with players wanting their money for their mortgages and their bills and their kids. And then, it was sort of the football club became survival. Who's going to survive? Who's going to stay around as long as they can to make sure they keep getting paid? And that's what happened.
What was I find it interesting because you always speak really highly of that move, although it didn't quite work out. What did you learn from that? How did you find it yourself? Because I think as a manager, I've always had that fear if it's not working out, what you're going to do if you lose your job. And so what was it like for you? Because it must be difficult.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Your streetwiseness sort of. If I'm being honest, I was probably too open, too brash. I should have probably kept my mouth shut a little bit more.
Yeah.
Probably got too close to Glenn, and people didn't like that. Certain people didn't like that were close to Glenn, and it's a bit like that around that area. Do you know what I mean? I'm your mate and all that kind of stuff. That happened quite a lot. And then it was just, like I say, the players just wanted to survive, and they were all sort of saying, I remember them saying to us, Glenn will pay us, don't worry, he'll pay us. Just get through this period. That kind of talk. It was crazy. And I felt sorry for Glenn because I didn't think people were being honest with him. And funny enough, Glenn rang me about 4 months ago, maybe a bit longer, 4 or 5 months ago, rang me from Dubai apologising, saying I was right all along. And he knows who his mates are now in the tough times he's gone through. So, but yeah, it was a great experience from it. Was you need a kick in the teeth really to come back up. Everybody does. You can take things for granted. So, and I think it made us stronger. But what I did really well was we learned the market, the financial market, what everyone was really on. People are saying they're on $2,000, they're on this, they're on that, but we learned what people are really on. The top earners in one league, and I knew what the low earners were on because I was doing it at Hemel, a smaller budget. So we sort of really learned the market because you hear he's on this and he's on that. It's never that. It's never as much as that.
Yeah.
So you just learned the market, and I think that's what we've done really well, transforming that into Wealdstone.
So then you get the job at Kingstonian, and that you weren't there too long. Was it just not the right club for you?
Look, we knew the owners. They asked us to help them out. Stu knew them particularly well, and it really come about like that, really. And we went in for 4 games. My boy got run over. My 16-year-old lad got run to school, and his boy got run over by a van twice, a double wheelbase, went over and reversed back over him. Didn't know he was there.
Oh, wow.
So then, so he did GCSEs and all that. So I had to look after him. So I couldn't commit no more. I didn't have the time looking after him. Couldn't commit. I said to Stu, do it by yourself. Minor didn't want to do it by himself. It's not his character. So I just said, look, I can't give you the time that needs committing. Look, it was a nice football club off the pitch. On the pitch, they had some major issues. Some of the recruitment was poor and wherever else. But, it's we tried to turn it around, and we didn't do particularly well, I'll be honest. We were rubbish, to be totally honest with you. We were absolutely rubbish. We organised the team, but it was a poor team, I'll be honest. And lads come in, they had their heads down, had poor seasons, frustrating. Yeah. The players we brought in didn't do too well either, so it wasn't a great time for us over them 4 games. And then personally, I had the issue with my boy getting run over. So
yeah, I mean, what's that like for you? Does that worry you in terms of then you've done Billericay short stint, you've done Kingstonian, you can't take away what you've done at Hemel, and that will always carry you, I think, because of how well you've done there. But does that then leave a little bit of a worry in your head, like where's the next job coming from? Who are we going to get and when we're going to get it?
The worrying bit was when we left Billericay, you're thinking, do we have to start all over again?
Yeah.
So we have to go all the way back down and start all over again. That was the only worry I had, but I wasn't afraid to do that. If we have to do that, to do it. I love the game. So, and there was no worry from when my boy got run over. I was just like, you know what? If it don't happen, it don't happen. And then, funny enough, the Wealdstone job come about, and someone said to me, contact the chairman. I contacted him directly. I was on holiday in Spain. I flew back, had the first interview on that Monday, and then had another interview on I think it was the Friday after. Yeah. And then we were offered the job, really. But there was some brilliant candidates for that job, so I was really proud to get it.
Yeah.
But I think we hit it off. I hit it off with Rory instantly. Stu, and funny enough, some of Stu's personal friends know Rory. We didn't know that at the time, and I think we just all hit it off. A similar age. Stu and I are about 39. Rory's about 41. So we just hit it off instantly, and it was a big decision for Rory to make because he got a bit of a backlash because obviously I'd gone from having one club for 6.5 years to now having 4 clubs. Was it 4 clubs? 3 clubs. 4 clubs in 7 years or whatever it was. So it's been a mad period. And I never wanted that on my CV. I wanted to just like seamlessly go in 5-6 years here, 5-6 years there. And even with Boggins, we spoke about doing 10 years. We spoke about it, but you know, it never really materialised.
Yeah. What I always recall, and I think you're a prime example of it. I remember in that spell where I think a lot of managers lose their job and they go quiet, don't they? You went and you must have covered so many games, you and Stu, and I think that's why you've done so well personally at Wealdstone.
You're at one of your games, haven't we?
Is it my game, nicking my players again? But no, like listen, not many people knew of my 2 players of Long King and Solomon. You know, not many people knew that. You knew about them because of the homework you've done. And you think that goes a long way in what you're doing in terms of your recruitment? You must have covered 50, 60 games in that period you wasn't working.
Yeah, we did. There was 4 of us that mainly do it. There's another couple of lads we got now that we brought on board that we've inherited at Wealdstone do a good job. So there's 6 of us now. But what we did, I made a major mistake, Lee. It was a massive mistake. I signed the lad blind in my first year. And it was the worst thing I ever did because I'm looking at the player and I'm going, you're rubbish. No disrespect. I'm playing him because he's on loan from a league club, but I signed him blind. And I swore I'd never do it again. Never. Unless somebody that I trust were in this close circle, says we have to take him. You know, and I signed them blind, an agent sold him to me. He's this, he's that, he's whatever else. I won't mention the lad's name, but I won't do it again. Yeah. But then we just make sure we go watch as many times as we can. Like the lad Mendy. Mendy for me is a great signing because I remember watching him on Carshalton on a Monday night. Twice down to Carshalton. It's a mission from Leighton Buzzard where I live. Yeah. You know, on a Monday night down there, I watched him against Barnet. He was outstanding. I'm looking at him going, he's not really a fullback. Looks to me he could play higher up the pitch. Yeah. Eventually, we made contact with the lad. As the summer goes on, we know he's out of contract. And we managed to get him. I just said, our next job, we definitely want to bring you with us. We get in contact. He comes in, he signs straight away. And I think he's been a revelation, a player like him.
A very good player, man. Very good player.
And he's young.
So how are you finding it at Wealdstone? It's a big club.
Yeah, great club. A lot of people told me I was mad to take, even going for the job because the supporters of this and the supporters of that. But I always found them passionate. Yeah. And I thought if we could get the passion and the togetherness and the positivity around the camp, and all I said to them was, if you're nice and passionate, if you're going to knock the players, you know, nothing's going to happen. The players will react in a negative way. I'll make sure the players work hard, and you give your passion, and no doubt we can create like a bit of a fortress at the football club. It's not nice walking out of that cage at Wealdstone and all that, and the fans are having a go at you. You know, I've been there before, and you this, you that. Do you know what I mean? I said to them, that's where it starts. Yeah. And when we walk out to line up, you make sure that the 4 people don't want to be here. And when they go in at half time, have the same go with them again. And that's what sort of happened. They've bought into it. We've created togetherness. It's a really passionate football club. There's a lot of good people there. Yeah. You know, it has like a negative, you know, supporters sort of have a little bit of a negative, a negative press, I suppose, because of previous things they've done. But I found 99% of the people, if not 100% of the people, have been brilliant. Maybe that's because of results and performances. I don't know.
The thing is as well, Dino, it's like you say, people are always going to have an opinion when they pay their money, and they've got a right to have an opinion. It's just sometimes you can manage that, you know, and if you manage it right, I mean, I think their fans are, when they get behind their side, I don't think there's anyone better in that level, to be honest. I think they're magnificent. Like you say, if they do turn against you, it becomes hard, but it's just managing them expectations, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've got to play a big part. You know, they've got to have a positive role in that. And they've been unbelievable this year. From the first kick of a ball, they've been unbelievable. And and they've been right behind us. They've been with us. It's been a really good togetherness from the board to the management to the staff to the players to the main thing, which is the supporters, because it's their club. And we've had some really good days. There's somebody we went to Weymouth and brought 400 to Weymouth on the bank holiday Monday. You know, so and what a game that was. You know, unbelievable. We're 3-1 up or 1-0 down. We're 3-1 up, 3-all. We scored in injury time. So days like that, they won't forget. And I definitely won't forget it, and the players won't. So yeah, they're a really good club, and I found them very professional. Football club's excellent, really professional. Everything's done properly. Whether we're ready for the next step or not, time will only tell. If we can get it, time will tell. That's a big question. But the way some football clubs at the minute, they're overspending. They're in really bad positions.
Yeah, massively. So what do you expect to happen, mate? Obviously, if people don't know, you're top at the moment. You're 3 points clear of the game in hand. Obviously, it's been season's finished. If they go points per game, you get promoted. What's your gut feeling? What's it telling you? And what do you think will happen?
My gut feeling's telling me it'll go points per game. That's what I think will happen. I hope that happens. Personally, I think that we should have finished the season. We should have found a 4 to 5 week period to finish the season. Whether it's with the players we have now, the manager we have now, which is myself, it doesn't matter. That football club will always be there. That football club should be able to finish the season, and the supporters should be able to have the entitlement to be able to, you know, maybe win the title. You know, and you know, for 6 weeks, that's 6 weeks. You know, people have got to get fit in a shorter period. Surely we can complete the season before we start a new one, but that's just definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, it's tough, mate. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a long time as well. You said about you know, it'd be tough if you go into the conference, and it probably won't be a great way for you. Although it'd be a great achievement, you want to be able to celebrate it with your supporters and that. But what do you think if you can get up in that league? How tough will that be? And will you have to recruit again? I think
we'll keep the majority of the group we've kept already. They've had their re-engagement sent to them. And some of the lads have had deals sent to them as well. Well, will have deals sent to them. They've been told they'll get new deals.
Yeah.
Verbally, but and by letter, by email. So I think we've got a good core of a group, and we've got a young group. And what would have happened, I think, this year is at least 3 or 4 lads would have got league moves. I basically know that would have happened. But now that the league clubs have no finances, I think we're going to be lucky enough to keep them lads.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we'll have a strong group. We'll definitely need to add 4 or 5 at least to the group, maybe half a dozen if we go up. And I think it could make a football club like ours because of our stability. You know, I really do, because we're not relying on sponsorships or anything like that. We just rely on our supporters, our match day revenue, and that's all we rely on. Now, whether we get our match day revenue, whether we play behind closed doors or not, that's going to be an interesting thing to see what will happen. But when you've got stuff like this, the Zoom and stuff, people could be paying to watch the games on YouTube or whatever.
Exactly, mate. I think there'll be ways around it, and it must be difficult for you at the moment. I'm finding it difficult myself, and in a way of you don't know when to start, you don't know who to approach, when to approach people. Are you finding it tough yourself? Because at the moment, you don't know where you stand at the moment. You're probably the worse than a lot of clubs. You're in no man's land. At least I know where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing next year, and I can slowly start approaching targets. But yourself, it must be really difficult.
Yeah, you want to get going. Obviously, this time of the year is probably the busiest for recruitment. You'll be meeting players, chatting to agents or whatever, you know, family members. We haven't done anything apart from 1 or 2 key lads that we've sort of, you know what I mean, we identified last year. There's 2 that we've really spoke to, you know, that we're sort of saying, look, you're for us no matter what division. Now, I think what will happen as well, Lee, and this will be great for you, great for people like Yuzi, who's a really good friend of mine of Hayes. There's going to be so many players available. It's going to be scary. And I did the non-league radio show yesterday. I was saying to them, if you've got a 1-year contract in this business now, in any level, you're doing well. You know, you're just going to so many players out of contract. You look at Colchester, some of the players they released. Unbelievable. The first team players. Yeah. You know, at that level, strong first team players at League 2 level. So, and it's going to happen. You know, there's going to be more and more players. You're saying Cambridge, Jamie are saying, you know, we've released some of their players. So there's going to be so many players and so many trialists available. So if you're patient enough, you'll sign really good players. Yeah,
I've said that. I think there's going to be so many come through. You know, it's not a time to panic. And the thing is, we don't know when we're going to go back either at the moment. While it's 2 metre rules in, I can't see any football being played until that's over.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time, isn't it? Hopefully, I think there's talk of coming back in September, but nobody really knows, do they? It's a guessing game. So we're just going to have to make sure that we keep ourselves safe. And whenever that's going to happen, we'll move from there, won't we?
Of course, mate. Of course.
with regards to players at your level, Dean, when are they contracted? So do they end in June like the League Two players do, or are they finished with you at the minute?
No, I think our players' contracts end on May the 3rd. I'd say 85% of our group's on contract. Some are non-contract, some are older lads. But the majority of them are on contract, and all of them had options. So, like we said, we've re-engaged them options with all the players. So it just gives us stability. And I suppose we're going to give the players stability as well. You know, if you're someone like a Dennon Lewis, he's going to have good stability now for another year. You're going to have a lot, like I say, a lot of strong players out of contract, like good players. So, I think on the contract side of things, players are going to have to be realistic. They're going to have to understand the economic. Even myself as a manager, like, listen, I wanted a new deal. I wanted a pay rise. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm talking myself out of it from a business point of view, which I always try to look at a football club. It's just not going to happen. I'm happy I've got another year. So, and my bills are going to be paid for another year, So we just got to make sure the football clubs survive, and players will have to understand that. And I think they'll understand that when football gets going again. They'll understand that when they have no offers on the table.
That's a big thing as well, isn't it? I think, the only positive from this, I think at the moment the players control really the financial side of things and can demand what they want. And if they can't afford it, they'll go and get it somewhere else. And I think that's going to change. And I think it's quite big for clubs like ourselves and yourself and other clubs. You start picking up even better players than what you've got now because of what's happening financially. It could be a lot better for non-league football. Yeah, definitely. I think the divisions will be stronger as well. They'll definitely be stronger, So I don't see a lot of managers making early moves. I think a lot of managers will hang out and see if them players have looked after themselves during the lockdown, are they fit. I probably wouldn't sign a player, apart from the sort of two or after, and we've been chatting to for a long time. I wouldn't sign a player unless I've seen him now. Yeah. He'd have to come into the environment, you know what I mean? So that's down to that player then if he wants to make that decision, because like I say, it's going to be a meat market out there. There's going to be so many players. It's going to be scary. It's not a good time to be a footballer, is it? No.
So personally, how do you want how do you want your situation to finish? Do you want the league done? Do you want to play? Do you want to?
I'd love to play. I'd love to go do a 6-week play and play the 9 games. Because this is what we worked for. I said that to the players all along. We set a target in pre-season. We kept it between ourselves, sort of a pledge. Said to the lads, look, this group's good enough to get 90 points. If anyone gets above that, we'll shake their hand. And that was our aim all along, was to get 90 points. And people, I never really told anyone. The players all believed in it. All the players last year had bad seasons. Not many of them. We didn't sign the top goal scorer in the Conference South or the National League or the Southern League or the Ryman Prem. None of the lads had good seasons. Apart from the lads we inherited, Jerome McKeem and stuff like that, they snuck in the playoffs at Wheelstone. But even probably that team underachieved, if I'm being honest. With the resources they had, that team should have really gotten a title race. I think, look, the best scenario for us is points per game. Would I like to play it? Yeah, because we'd be excited about the run in. You'd love that lifting that trophy, that opportunity to lift that trophy. There's no doubt Havant would have got it easily from the 85 points. They were always going to get at least that. So we felt no matter what happened, whether they went ahead of us or not, with our game in hand, and we knew we had to play tough midweek games, we knew 90 points for us. I think they could only get 89, so we knew 90 points was always the target. And if we could get that, we'd lift the title. And you want that excitement in football. That's the drama you want. It's never easy to win a title.
That's what you Dino, isn't it? That's what you work so hard for, and it becomes a. But listen, you won't turn down going in the conference next year, I'm sure, mate.
Yeah, you take it all day long. Yeah, like I'll be having a party. Don't worry about that. My own little party. Yeah.
Another one, mate.
I got the red wine out, all right. Even the champagne.
Well, I'll tell you what, though.
See what happens.
Depending on what the situation is where we are at Stevenage, we might be seeing you next year then, Dean.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it could happen, to be fair. Yeah, it'd be a good little game, that, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to go back. I've had a little stint at Stevenage, didn't I, before?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, a little stint there. Good club under Graham. He bought us from Hitchin, and it's a good club, to be fair. And it's amazing, how people take successful managers for granted, and you sort of think they can go to the next level. Stevenage have had a lot of success. Obviously, they're in a little bit of a tougher times for them, and it just shows how quick football can change.
Massively, mate. Massively.
Well, look, we always like to finish off, Dean, with a quick fire round. It doesn't normally end up being quick fire. So are you ready for a few questions?
Yeah, no sweat, sound, mate.
Best goal you've ever scored?
Oh, Jesus. I actually don't know. I actually don't know. I swear in the gospel, lads. I can't
Scored a
remember.
few, to be fair, Dino.
I scored a few decent goals. I can't remember. I'll be honest with you. That's a terrible answer. I scored a goal against Harrow from the halfway line once, actually. Loved the goalkeeper. Yeah. On the volley from over my shoulder.
We'll take that one.
From the halfway line for hitting, yeah, that was it,
yeah. Best player you played with and against?
I played against Stephen Gerrard. Unbelievable player. So quick, so strong, so athletic. You know, that was the first thing I noticed about him. Best player I played with was probably Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Waddle was my reserve team manager. He was an unbelievable player as well, by the way.
Was he?
He could still play. Yeah. Vicky Hill was a great player too. So yeah, some good ones.
Yeah, some good ones there.
Best manager played under and why?
Ricky Hill was the best manager, sort of best coach. I just think he got his recruitment wrong at Luton. Unbelievable coach, best coach I've ever worked with by an absolute country mile. I thought Stimo did really well with his recruitment at Grays, and I really enjoyed my time there. And he probably manager-wise, probably the best manager.
What's your ambition as a manager, Dino? Where do you think you can go and how high?
When I was a bit younger, I used to think, I want to go into the league, I want to do that. I was in a rush, you know what I mean, to do things. But as I sort of learned the business a bit more, I just sort of say, look, you want to survive and manage as long as you can, really, and then just see how it goes. Like your dad will tell you, you know what I mean? It's such a tough business. Your dad's had a proper career, football and career, playing career. And look, you know, he's probably had no sniffs of a league job, do you know what I mean? And, you know, I don't know, you'd probably tell me that. But you learn from people like your dad and you start understanding the business, you're a little bit calmer, a little bit more reserved. And sort of next year will be my 9th year doing it. So, yeah, just really to survive and take. You just do everything. Sometimes you know, it goes by the board, it goes by the ambition of the football club as well to see where you can go to. And you need help. You can't do it all by yourself. So just to survive, really.
Yeah, don't blame me, mate.
This is our ongoing question we ask everyone we interview on it: Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo?
Messi for me.
Yeah.
He just defeats all objects. Then he's a tiny little player. You know, I can imagine people saying he's going to be too small and stuff like that, and he's just outrageous. Tactically amazing, technically a joke. He's just the best player I've ever seen. But Ronaldo can't be far behind, can he? He can only be an inch behind. He's made himself into a machine. So.
Just one more thing from me. What do you think is more important? And you've touched on two things. I just wanted to find your view on it. Recruitment or being a great coach of players?
Recruitment.
All day. Yeah, totally.
Recruitment. How much coaching time do you get these days with the amount of games you play?
Exactly. You know? If you get the right players, mate, who buy into it, I think you're halfway there, aren't you?
Yeah. My coaching experience is sort of get the players to work as hard as they can to get them as fit as they can. Get them to do what they're good at. You know, if they give it away, get it back. That's sort of the motto. But when we were at Hemel, we trained in that cage. Like, what can you do in there? We did 4v4 games, 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off. You know, couple of drills. There's not a lot you can do. When we're at Wealdstone, we got a full-size 3G, and you can see the difference in the points return.
Yeah.
Over training and that. And there's something I always fought for at Hemel, and we could never get a full-size 3G. We never had it. We're on the pitch every now and again. So it's frustrating.
People don't realise this, though, Dino, do they? They don't realise that what you've got to do in non-league and how you've got to work for it. I mean, we had it at Biggleswade. We have a 7v7. You couldn't work on any corners or set pieces for 4 months of the winter. You know, people don't realise it. And it happens all the way through non-league. Some people haven't even got an opportunity to train some Thursdays. And people don't realise it, do they? They don't realise how hard it actually is.
It's just for players to open up their legs. You know, I look at my fullbacks to fly forward. So they've got to be able to run over 80 metres. You know what I mean? Or, you know, they've got to be able to run there back, you know. And we're in a little cage and it's tight. Sometimes I could join in. You know what I mean? And so it was really tough at times. It's something I always fought for. It was just really. Remember, I once turned up to the cage, and the ladies are on the cage. The cage at Hemel. I was like, I'll tell the coach you're off. He goes, "Man, the chairman told me we have it." All the players are turned up a train. I'm having an argument with the ladies coach. You know, ridiculous. Like a few, I'm ringing Dave. He ain't picking up his phone. You know, it's just all on me on the Thursday night. We've got a big game on the Saturday. So these are the things people don't see. But what's happened at Wealdstone is there's no excuses. The board gave us no excuses. Full-size 3G, all the facilities, everything you need, gym, everything. And I think that's made a major difference. And that can be the difference between 10 points, the team spirit with that as well. There's just no excuses. And I think that's the environment you've got to create. But on recruitment, if you sign bad players, you know, you're not going to have... I had one really bad summer at Hemel. Really bad summer.
Yeah, that's when you started poorly, wasn't it? I remember it.
Terrible. I had to turn the whole thing around. I decided I'd give them all 10 games. I decided after 3 games it was over. like the majority of the group. So I had to build another team. And lucky enough, that's where Dave was really good, Dave Buggins. He said to me, don't worry, your job's not on the threat. We went in the bottom. In the end, I think we come 8th.
Yeah, you did. You just missed out.
Yeah, we did all right. We missed out like on the last day by turning the whole squad around. But that was a nightmare. And I rushed into a lot of signings, a bit immature in what I did. But if you're a manager just starting out and you're the summer like that, you might never manage again.
That's the problem, mate. You
don't realise it. Recruitment's everything. It's the key to the business.
Yeah, no, massively, mate.
Just one question, Dean, for you before we let you go. I've not been down and seen Lee in action yet. What do you make of him on the sideline?
Yeah, I think he's a good manager. A really good manager. You always, even when he was with his dad and sort of like he'd be assistant, you knew he'd be a manager. You knew that. And I'd say even as a player, knowing his personality, he'll do really well because he does his research. And he has what it takes, to be honest. He speaks really well, really elegant in how he speaks. So I think that's very important, your communication to the players. Can you speak to a group? Sometimes you can talk too long. If I'm being honest, I've actually stopped doing team talks. I do it on a Thursday.
Yeah. So
this sort of now I've stopped doing it. And, when you first start out, you think you can do everything and get every point across. You just can't. I was a player. You just lose a player after, realistically, a minute.
Yeah.
Players are drifting away thinking, what am I going to do tonight or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They ain't thinking of things. So, and another thing we don't bring the players in really early. I always found that really frustrating. People that come in at 1 o'clock and all that, you've got 2 hours to kick off. I just say to the players, be ready at 1:45. Whatever time you want to get in, come in. Yeah. And then I'll have a chat with them just after we see the referee about the opposition, their team sheet, and that's it. Not collectively, just individually.
Just keep it really simple.
Myself. Just simple. So simple.
Our first guest on here was Darren Saul. So obviously he went in at Stevenage, now he's at Yeovil. And he said he's cut it right back to basics, didn't he, Lee?
Yeah, he did. I mean, what did he say? He used to watch 14 games a week, didn't he?
Yeah.
So if they played on a Saturday, watch them 3 times. Play on a Tuesday, watch them 3 times. Watch the game back. Play on a Saturday again, watch it 3 times. Watch the game back. I think he come up with football. He said, I just stopped the whole lot. I just made it very, very simple. Just cut it all back.
And he's been successul now.
Yeah,
exactly. I know he's a really good runner, Stevenage, but yeah, because when you're younger, you think you can cover every base, but players don't want to hear that. Do you know what I mean? They just want to come in, do what you're good at. I've signed you to do that. Work hard for yourself and your family, then for your team. And that's really how players think. Because if you remember, as a player, I would read the programme. Say you're on the pan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before the game, you just look for your name, don't you?
Of course you do. Yeah.
And that's the same for the players now. They're just looking for their name, and sometimes you got to rub some of their egos. Much different. Your old man had probably thrown a cup of tea 10 years ago, 20 years ago across.
Changed
that
massively.
Don't happen no more.
No, he don't.
Do that no more.
He's changed massive. I mean, he's offered a few out in the car park. He get filled in as well. That's what makes me laugh. And then really offered to get you out in the car park. I'm thinking, I ain't going to back you up. You get filled in. But I mean, I remember I really rate one of the best managers I played for was Zima Abbey. I thought Zima was different class, but he probably went a little bit too much into the opposition. And I remember going on a coach once, and he'd write the opposition team down. And he said, right, you're up against this midfielder, and I'd look at it, I think 6'4", don't lose header, great in a tackle and can pass. I'm thinking, I don't need this today, for fuck's sake. And he probably went too much the other side of worrying and overcomplicating him. But fantastic manager, great attention to detail. I love my time with him. But I think you can overcomplicate it a little bit, can't you? And worry too much and over-talk it. And really, it's just go and do what you do and what we brought you in for that you do best.
Yeah, 100%. I know Z well. Z's got a big personality.
Yeah.
A really big personality. He's really, he's real manly, He's a great guy. A great coach. Knows the game inside out.
Yeah.
And he's a good speaker as well, I mean,
Very
he's really good. And it's a shame, really. It's a shame for Z that, he sort of fell out of football.
Yeah,
whether it's his choice or not.
I'd have thought he'd have gone really, really kicked on. I said to you, I obviously you got Gary with you now, and when I was at Olsey and Z was running it, Gary was sort of director there, football. He was different class. And I just felt that when we went up that next league, where he never worried too much about the opposition, we were a good side. He worried probably a little bit too much. And it gets in your head, like you say, you want to hear that, go and do what you do best, get on the ball and play. And now you're worrying about a 6'4" centre midfielder who's going to come crashing through you when you get the ball. You can
that's what we do.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially a player like you, because you can open any kind of door. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm good at. Let him worry about me. But yeah, I just keep it really brief. They'll have the opposition set pieces, So it's that kind of thing, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
won't be loads. It's all about us, really.
Yeah.
You know, so some days you get it right, some days you get it wrong. You have good seasons, you have bad seasons. You know, next year you could be near the bottom. That's how quick this business can change.
Exactly, mate. You know that as well. Exactly. So, no, mate, I think it's been a pleasure talking to you, mate. It's been a great story, and thank you for coming on the show, mate. It's been very good.
Cheers, lad. Thanks, really appreciate it.
Brilliant. Good luck. I hope it all works out well for you, Dean.
Cheers, Dammy. See you soon. God bless.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers, boy. Bye-bye.